Hello everyone. Thanks for joining today's session on row-level security in Bool BI. I'm Rajendran and I will be showing you how to control who sees what in your dashboards, whether it's a logged in user or an anonymous user viewing the embedded dashboard. We will start with a quick introduction to row-level security, followed by how it works in both single tenant and multi-tenant environments. After that, I will walk you through a live demo showcasing row-level security features for authenticated users, how we switch databases based on custom attributes, and how anonymous user access works during embedding. Then we'll see some best practices to follow when implementing row-level security solutions, do a quick recap, and finally we'll open the floor for questions. Let's begin. So what is row-level security? Row-level security is a way to control what data each user has to see in a dashboard. It ensures that every user sees the data that is relevant to them. Let's say you have a single dashboard shared with 500 users. Without row-level security, everyone would see the same data, right? Which is a privacy and security risk. The other alternate way would be to create 500 different dashboards for each user, right? Which would be a nightmare to maintain. With row level security, one dashboard is enough. It will automatically filters the data for each user. Say, for example, consider you have a sales analysis dashboard and you share the dashboard to a salesperson as well as a regional manager, right? Salesperson has to see his data alone, own sales data alone, whereas a regional manager should be able to see all the sales occurring in that region. With the row-level security, you can serve both users with the same dashboard, but behind the scenes, the row-level security, that is the filters based on users will be automatically applied and relevant data will be shown to the users. Now, let's scale this to a multi-tenant environment. In a multi-tenant SaaS environment, you might be serving multiple companies, right? Each having its own database. Instead of setting up separate BA instances for each of your customers, Bool BA can use one instance and one dashboard and switch databases dynamically based on which company user is logging in. We do this via custom attributes. That is, these custom attributes tell Bool BA which database to connect for a particular user. And once the right database is selected, row-level security filters are then applied inside the tenant's data to show data relevant to the user in a multi-tenant setup. Sample, let's take sales dashboard app. Again, you are running a sales desk app for two companies. Let's take company A, Alpha Electronics, and company B, Beta Enterprises. When a salesperson from Alpha Electronics logs in, Bool BA connects to Alpha Electronics database and show the data relevant to him. When a regional manager from Alpha Electronics logs in, again they see regional level filtered data from the same Alpha Electronics database. However, if a user from Beta Enterprise logs in, Bool BA automatically switches to Beta Enterprise database and applies row-level security rules for them to show meaningful information relevant to that particular tenant. Right? All this happens in a single dashboard design itself, which makes it this is an efficient, secure, and scalable solution. So why this solution is more powerful? You design one dashboard and serve it securely to many companies, right? Each tenant's data also stays separate and protected, and each user sees only their relevant data, no matter which company they are from. So this makes your BA setup more scalable, secure, and easy to maintain, and perfect for your SaaS product solutions. Let's now look at how Bold BA implements row-level security for two user types. One, authenticated user and anonymous user. For authenticated users who have a Bold BA account, first we need to connect the data source. Then we need to configure row-level security in the data source design page, where we have to define who sees what based on the column values in the table. Next, to switch between databases, say for tenant-specific data access, we have to define custom attributes at the user level. So BoldBA will use this attribute to dynamically connect to the right database when the user logs in. For anonymous user, this user doesn't need to be present in BoldBA. Instead, their access is controlled using predefined group-based permissions. So this approach is ideal when you are embedding dashboards directly into your application and you don't want to manage user accounts inside the BoldBA. Here, you already know the user identity or their role from your embedded application. From there, you need to pass the information like which group-based permission you need to apply in BoldBA and which filter values you need to pass in to make sure relevant row-level security is applied at runtime. Within BoldBA, when the dashboard is loaded, this row-level security information is applied based on the external filters coming in and relevant group-based permission applied from within BA. So giving the right data to the right users without having to create individual accounts within Bold BA. So this makes anonymous access a preferred choice for embedding analytics, especially in external customer facing apps. Before we jump into the demo, let me quickly walk you through what you're about to see. So this part of this demo session is focused on how you can implement row-level security in Bold BA using examples across both single tenant and multi-tenant setups. So we will start with the basic dashboard using data from one customer, and then we'll apply row-level security manually to limit what user can see. From there, we'll scale it to support multiple tenants by using custom attributes to switch between databases. Finally, I will show you how you can manage row-level security using a lookup table, making it easy to control the access even if you're managing the users outside of Bold BA. So the goal is to show you how Bold BA empowers secure, dynamic, and reusable dashboard designs that work seamlessly in your multi-tenant environment, right? Let's jump into the demo now. I have opened my BoldBay instance running in my laptop. Let's start creating a dashboard from scratch. I'm going to name it as Sales Overview. I'm going to connect the Postgres database. This is the Alpha Electronics table I have. This is a table. And this is the data. Let's connect first. I'm going to drag and drop a card widget. Going to do aggregation of sales amount. Lightly pick the format to show millions. Next, going to drag and drop a grid widget. Let's drag and drop region, order date, again sales amount. Okay, let's preview. So you can preview by impersonating different users here. For now, we didn't configure any row level security. So we should be seeing the same data for each user. Let's publish it for now. Next, I'm going to create a couple of users for alpha. So let's assume he's a sales. Create another user for regional manager. So I had two users. Let's go and edit the dashboard. Go to data source. Here you will find setup row level security, user filter option. I'm going to choose region based filter here. Let's find the users we have created. Here we have Alpha Raj sales, Alpha Ram regional manager. For sales, I'm going to, let's consider he is a salesperson for central region. And for Alpha Ram, he's going to see all the data. So I'm going to have exposed all the regions. Now let's save this. Go to preview. Let's switch to Alpha Raj. Since he is in sales handling central region, we should see only the central region data here and its cumulative sales amount in the card widget. If we switch to Alpha RAM, we should see the overall sales figures. Let's publish it. Now, let's simulate a second tenant. Beta Enterprise. Let's go to the users. Add two more users. Beta. Beta John. Sales at Bowl BA. or regional manager. Let's name him David. To simulate custom multiple tenants, we need to change the connection to utilize custom attribute here instead of having a direct database mentioned here. So we have 4 users, 2 from alpha, 2 from beta. So when a user from alpha logs in, he needs to connect with the alpha electronics database. When a user from beta logs in, he needs to see beta enterprise database, right? So let's add a custom attribute here. So I'm mentioning the database name here. Now let's go back and edit the connection. On pressing the dollar symbol, you would see the custom attributes listed here. Let's choose the tenant DB we have created now and reconnect. You can preview the data here. So what does happen here is that, so myself Rajanan, I am handling editing this dashboard. Custom attribute from my name is substituted here. That is, I connected with the alpha electronics here. So let's save it and let's preview now. Let's choose alpha rush. I should see the alpha analytics information here. Let's go and choose beta. So to do refresh the list, click here. We'll find beta David and John here. Beta David is a regional. Okay, so one more thing we have missed is that we have to configure the user filter for beta David and beta John. For again, for a salesperson, we'll choose the central region. And for the regional manager, let's choose all the region. Let's save it. Go to preview. I'm going to choose beta David. We should see overall sales happen in the beta enterprise. Now I'm going to choose the salesperson, John. I'm going to see the data only from the central region. So this is a key feature for multi-tenant SaaS apps, allowing one dashboard to serve multiple clients securely, right? So next, let's take a complete sample I have prepared already. This is the sales analysis dashboard. Here it supports 4 different tenants. It connects 4 different databases based on which user logs in. So each user has their own database or data access code, which is defined through row level security. So I already configured the pre-configured for users: Alex, Grace, Henry, Jack, Leo, etc. So these are the users you'd see in the user management page. And I already defined attributes. So let me open up and show. For Alex, I've created a sales analyst DB attribute to access beta enterprise database. For Grace, it is Alpha Electronics. For Lily from Beta, again Beta. For Gamma, Rian from Gamma Industries, you should be able to connect Gamma Industries sales analyst. So let me preview the dashboard here. I'm going to switch to Rian, which sees complete data from Gamma Industries. Next, Lily from Nextgate. So this dashboard shows how powerful and scalable our row level security feature in Bowl BA can be, right? So again, let me show. Okay. Finally, let's see an alternate method of configuring row level security using a simple lookup table stored in an Excel file. So for that, I'll first create a clone of this dashboard. Okay, I've created a clone. This uses the same dashboard and a copied version of data source. Here you can see the user filter configured in manual approach. The alternate approach I'm going to show is all about the data source option. And I have a Excel table where I have pre-filled the username and the region he has access to, kind of a lookup table. So I'm going to use this as a data source, which again would be referred in the data source option shown here. Okay, so I have already created a data source with an Excel table. So let me show an existing data source. This is a simple lookup data source I have created. So this is the one. Let me edit. So here you can see the data from Excel is imported here. We have username, user email, and region. And for the purpose of rollout security configuration, user email is going to be our INT column, which is pre-filled. And we are going to choose region for rollout security configuration. And if you want to show data for all the users who are unmapped in the role BA, we can choose this option. Let's save it for now. Let's preview it. As like how you seen the row level security filters working in manual mode, here also it will be work seamlessly without any glitches. So this approach is very useful for teams who maintain their access logic externally in files or in a SQL database. So once configured, row level security will work just as seamlessly based on values defined in the particular table. So we have now seen how to configure row level security manually, how to scale it with database switching using custom attributes, and how to externalize the access control using lookup tables. Next, let's look at embedding dashboards with row level security. So before we jump into the demo, let's quickly understand the use case we are trying to address here. In many real world scenarios, especially in SaaS platforms, you may not want every end user to come inside the Bool BA and access the dashboards, right? So instead, users want to interact with the dashboards that are seamlessly embedded within your application. So without ever knowing that Bool BA is powering the visuals behind the scenes. So even in these setups, it is absolutely essential to secure the data using row level security so that each user only sees what they are allowed to based on their identity, role, or access level. So in this section, I will walk you through how you can embed dashboards securely for both users present in Bool BI and anonymous guest users. For guest users, we look at how to pass parameters like group name and user identifiers and enforce row level security dynamically. So without the overhead of managing user accounts within Bool BI. So let's see how both approaches work in action. As a first step, we need to enable embedding in the Bool BI portal. This can be found under embed settings section. So once we enable this embed authentication, it will generate a embed secret code, which is like a secure token that allows you to embed dashboards outside of Bool BI, typically like your customer facing application. It is important to store this embed secret securely. Alternatively, you can download a full configuration as a JSON file by clicking this download option. Here, I'm going to embed dashboards sales analyst database lookup. I have downloaded it as a JSON file. This will have embed secret along with other required properties like site URL, dashboard ID, and embed type, which helps in making the integration quick and repeatable. Next, I have downloaded ASP.NET Core sample from our GitHub repository, which is referenced in the UG documentation. And I have already downloaded this sample and set up a runtime environment. So first step, copy the embed config file which you have downloaded and place it in the sample here in this location. So it holds the dashboard ID which you want to embed, server URL, user email, embed secret, and other parameters necessary for embedding the dashboard. Let's quickly run this sample. As you can see, BOOKMARK dashboard is now embedded inside the ASP.NET Core app. Your authorization code, server code, will be available in the home page, home controller. Here by default, the user email available in the embed config is passed here. So let's take a step further. I'm going to simulate embedding the dashboard for a specific BOOKMARK user. So in this case, I'm going to use Jack at alphaelectronics.com. This user has been configured with row level security, where he have full access to all regional data. Let's replace in the code. Since we have access to full regional view, we see all the data summary here. Let's filter it down further by passing the embed data source filter to limit East region alone. So this is the parameter and this is the value. So by making this simple change, Jack can now see the data only for the East region alone. So it's taking a little bit of time since I have too many operations in the laptop. So as you can see, Jack have now able to see only the East region data since we applied embed RSS filter to limit East region alone. So it demonstrates how you can combine the row level security and embed filter parameters for fine-grained control. So what if we don't want to manage the users inside BOOKMARK at all? We want to have a guest user, or we don't want to manage another user management system in BOOKMARK. So that's where the anonymous access comes in. So in many SaaS application, you already have your own user management system and you don't want to replicate that in BOOKMARK. So by enabling the anonymous embedding, you offload your user management to your app while still applying group level permission and row level security. So first step, we need to enable the system user mode, which can be found in the UMS sites settings section, and under accounts you will find this enable system user option. You need to enable this. While enabling this, it will allow anonymous user to view embedded dashboards effortlessly, right? So enable it, save the settings once. And then in our embed code, we need to pass three parameters: group name, email ID, anonymous user flag set to true. So first step, I need to create a group, right? So I'm going to the BOLBA instance. I've already created a group named marketing team with the permission enabled to access the sales analysis dashboard. I'm going to use this marketing team group. You can find that no users added here. Let's go back to the code. Here, I have set the anonymous token flag true, and authorized group mentioned as marketing team. And for the user email, I'm going to use a mail ID which is not available in the bool BI. I'm going to use ella at enterprise bedaenterprise.com. So this user is a anonymous user. Next, I'm passing in the custom attribute with a custom attribute parameter for Beta Enterprise database. Let's run this sample. So you can see that the data is loading and it is filtered for East region. This is because we have passed data source filter region equal to East. We can control the data source filter parameters to have fine-grained control over who gets to see what here within the embed application itself, instead of going to bool BI and set up row-level security there. I have removed the filter and now able to see all the data here. So with a combination of custom attributes and data source filter, you could control and manipulate row-level security at the application level itself. So at the core, the embed secret plays a major role. So this embed secret acts like a digital signature that validates the request between your application and the bool BI server. That is, it ensures the request is coming from a trusted application. And in anonymous mode, the row level security is enforced based on the group assigned and additional filter parameters you are processing at runtime. Okay, this wraps the complete end-to-end demo showcasing how to embed dashboards for authenticated bool BI users and anonymous users while applying the multi-tenant data isolation and row-level security. So we also have a publicly hosted sample. This one here, you can use it as a playground app to explore these features. It has all the details like which users have which custom attribute mapped and what is their row level security configured and who are all anonymous users and for them which group is passed. And you can see the workflow diagram of this workflow. And you can also explore the bool BI instance which is connected, which is powering this embed application. So let's open login with Look. So this will simulate like a real world application. Here, Look have access to Delta Industries database where the role security is configured to access not region alone. So you can use this sample as a playground to explore multi-tenant role security configurations in Bool BI. Now that we have seen how both Bool BI users and anonymous user can access the dashboard, the next important question is how do we track and monitor who is accessing what, especially for compliance, auditing, and for internal governance. It is essential to know which dashboards are being accessed by whom and what actions they are performing. To make this easy, Bool BI provides a built-in usage analytics dashboard. You'll find this under usage analytics category. Under usage analytics category, you will find the dashboard usage analytics. Just open the dashboard. You will get detailed insights such as which anonymous users access the dashboard. Here, Ella and Lily are anonymous users, and which resources they have accessed it, and what kind of actions they prominently performed, and when they accessed it. So this gives you full visibility whether the user is a named account in Bool BI or an anonymous guest account accessing the dashboard through embedding. Before we wrap up, let's go over some of the best practices to follow when implementing row-level security and embedding dashboards in Bool BI. First, store your embed secrets at the server side and never expose them in the client-side code. Always use HTTPS mode and configure allowed origins in Bool BI to accept embed requests only from the trusted domains. Second, make use of custom attributes for tenant isolation. You can define custom attribute to switch the databases securely, and you can make them dynamic based on which user is logging in or which group is accessing the dashboards. Third, prefer using anonymous access when embedding dashboards into external or customer facing apps. This will keep your Bool BI portal lean and lets your app manage user identity and permissions more efficiently. Here you can map the roles in your app equivalent to Bool BI groups and allocate permissions accordingly. Fourth, combine row level security and embed level filters for precise control over who gets to access which data. Next, regularly review the usage analytics dashboard to monitor who is accessing which dashboard and what actions they are performing. Track anonymous and authenticated user activity separately if there is a need for compliance purpose or for auditing. And you can also simply use it to understand your users and how they are interacting with your reports. So these practices not only strengthen your security, but also simplify dashboard management across users and tenants. Let's take a quick look at what we have covered today. We started by understanding what row level security is and why it is essential when building dashboards for single tenant as well as multi-tenant platforms. Then we looked at how Bool BA supports row level security in two user contexts, authenticated users and anonymous users. And then we walk through real-time demos showing how to set up row-level security manually as well as in database mode, and how to use custom attributes to switch databases depending upon which user or group logging in. And we saw how to configure anonymous access and how to embed dashboards. And we also saw how we can use usage analytics dashboard to track anonymous users activity as well as bold BA users activity for audit and compliance tracking purpose. So the key takeaway is bold BA gives you the flexibility to secure, scale, and personalize your dashboards, whether you are embedding for internal applications or for external customers. With row-level security, custom attributes, and embedding capabilities, you can deliver powerful self-service analytics while maintaining tight control over the data visibility as well. And that's it for today's webinar.